Bruno Mars is back at MetLife Stadium, and even before the main show has officially begun, New Jersey is already going wild. The lights, the stage, the massive production, the crew, and now Bruno Mars himself. A soundcheck at MetLife Stadium has turned into one of the most talked about moments surrounding the romantic tour, as fans gathered around the stadium and reacted to the unmistakable sound of Bruno Mars preparing for another massive night. And if you are a Bruno Mars fan, you already know that a soundcheck is never just a soundcheck. Because when an artist like Bruno Mars walks onto a stadium stage, even a rehearsal can feel like a concert. So before we get deeper into everything happening around MetLife Stadium, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and hit that like button if you want more Bruno Mars news, the romantic tour updates, concert moments, and behind-the-scenes coverage. And most importantly, stay until the end, because what makes this soundcheck so interesting is not simply the fact that Bruno Mars was preparing his voice. It is what this moment represents for the return of the romantic tour in the United States. The atmosphere around MetLife Stadium has been building for days. Fans have been watching every update, every truck arriving at the venue, every piece of production equipment being moved into position, every glimpse of the stage, every rehearsal rumor, and every sign that Bruno Mars was getting ready to return to the US stage. Now, the wait is becoming reality. Bruno Mars has entered the soundcheck phase at MetLife Stadium, and the reaction from New Jersey has been intense. This is the kind of moment that shows just how different a stadium concert can feel before the doors even open. The audience may not yet be inside. The official performance may not have started, but the energy is already there. And when Bruno's voice begins traveling through a stadium designed to hold tens of thousands of people, the scale becomes almost impossible to ignore. MetLife Stadium is not a small venue. It is one of the biggest stadiums in the New York and New Jersey area, and Bruno Mars is returning to this massive stage as part of the romantic tour. That alone creates enormous expectations. But there is another reason fans are paying such close attention to this soundcheck. Bruno Mars is known for treating live performance as more than simply singing the songs exactly as they sound on a recording. His concerts are built around musicianship, choreography, timing, crowd interaction, band chemistry, visual production, and an old-school showmanship that makes every performance feel carefully constructed. That means the soundcheck can offer a fascinating glimpse into the machinery behind the spectacle. While fans see the finished product when the stadium lights go down, the soundcheck reveals the preparation that makes those moments possible. The microphones are tested, the instruments are checked, the monitors are adjusted, the lighting is coordinated, the stage is prepared, the band works through musical cues, and Bruno's vocals are tested against an enormous stadium environment. It is a completely different atmosphere from a normal rehearsal room. Inside MetLife Stadium, sound behaves differently. The stage is enormous. The audience area stretches far into the distance, and every part of the production has to work together. That is why a soundcheck before a Bruno Mars stadium show can become such a major moment for fans. Because somewhere between rehearsal and performance, the show starts to come alive. And New Jersey felt it. Fans reacting outside the stadium, people waiting for updates, social media posts spreading across the Bruno Mars fan community, and excitement building around the venue all point to one thing. The romantic tour has officially entered another major chapter. Think about the timing. Bruno Mars has already taken this tour across enormous international stages. The European and UK portion brought major stadium moments, packed crowds, special guests, unforgettable outfits, powerful vocal performances, and the kind of production that has made the romantic tour one of the biggest concert stories of 2026. Now the focus is back on America, and the first major stop of this second-half US run is MetLife Stadium. That makes this venue more than another concert location. It becomes the opening statement, the first major opportunity for Bruno Mars to show American audiences what the latest version of the romantic tour looks and sounds like after the international leg. And that is where this soundcheck becomes especially interesting, because fans are not simply waiting to hear Bruno sing. They are wondering what has changed. Has the production evolved? Will there be new arrangements? Will Bruno introduce anything different after the European and UK shows? Will there be unexpected moments? Will special guests appear? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what will happen when Bruno finally walks onto that stage in front of a completely packed MetLife Stadium? That is the anticipation surrounding this return. The soundcheck is only the beginning. And then, suddenly, the atmosphere changes. Bruno's voice cuts through the stadium. For fans who have been waiting for this moment, hearing those first notes can be enough to create an immediate reaction. There is something uniquely powerful about hearing a superstar rehearse inside an empty stadium. The seats may still be empty. The giant screens may still be waiting. The lights may still be in rehearsal mode. But the voice is already filling the space. And that contrast creates a strange kind of magic. An empty stadium suddenly feels alive. A rehearsal suddenly feels like a private concert. And a few minutes of soundcheck can become a memory that fans talk about for years. This is also where Bruno Mars' reputation as a live performer becomes important. For more than a decade, Bruno has built his career around performances that demand serious vocal and musical ability. From Just the Way You Are and Locked Out of Heaven to 24K Magic. That's What I Like, Uptown Funk, Grenade, and his Silk Sonic material with Anderson .Paak. His catalog is filled with songs that are designed to work in a live environment. But the Romantic Tour represents another era. The release of his album The Romantic brought Bruno back into the spotlight with a new chapter in his solo career. And the Stadium Tour expanded that chapter into a massive live production. The result is a concert experience built around nostalgia and new material at the same time. Fans get the songs they grew up with. They get the songs they discovered more recently. And they get the Bruno Mars performance style that has become instantly recognizable around the world. That is why the soundcheck at MetLife Stadium carries so much weight. It is a preview of a much bigger moment. And if you are watching the footage closely, there is something important to remember. The most exciting part of a soundcheck is often not what happens during the rehearsal itself. It is what the rehearsal tells us about what is coming next. A soundcheck can reveal how the stage is being used, can show where musicians are positioned, can hint at transitions, can reveal changes in arrangements. It can demonstrate how Bruno's vocals are being balanced against the live band. And sometimes, even a brief rehearsal moment can generate huge speculation among fans. But speculation is not confirmation. And that distinction matters. The excitement surrounding Bruno Mars at MetLife Stadium is real, but fans should not assume that every soundcheck moment automatically means a surprise is coming. What we can say is that the preparation itself shows how seriously the production is being treated. And that preparation is essential when you are about to perform for a stadium audience. Now imagine the moment when those gates open. Tens of thousands of people begin entering. Fans wearing Bruno Mars merchandise. Fans carrying signs. Friends arriving together. Couples attending their first Bruno Mars concert. Longtime fans who have followed his career since the beginning. And people who simply want to experience one of the biggest live performers of his generation. The empty stadium from Soundcheck will transform completely. The seats will fill. The screens will illuminate. The crowd noise will rise. The stage lights will begin to move. And eventually, everything will go dark. That is the moment when rehearsal ends. That is the moment when Bruno Mars takes over. And this is where the story reaches its biggest payoff. Because the soundcheck at MetLife Stadium is not really about an empty stadium. It is about what happens when that empty stadium becomes a sea of people. The quiet preparation becomes a massive live event. The technical checks become the opening notes of a concert. And the anticipation that has been building across New Jersey becomes one giant roar. Bruno Mars has spent years mastering the art of making huge audiences feel connected to one performer. That is not easy inside a stadium. The farther a fan sits from the stage, the harder it becomes for the artist to create intimacy. But Bruno's performance style is designed to overcome that distance. The band creates the musical foundation. The dancers and production amplify the visual experience. The screens bring the action closer. And Bruno becomes the center of the entire production. That combination is what makes a stadium show different from simply listening to an album. You are not just hearing the songs. You are watching them happen. And when tens of thousands of people sing the same chorus at the same time, the song becomes something much larger than the original recording. That is the real power of a Bruno Mars concert. And MetLife Stadium is the perfect environment for that kind of spectacle. For New Jersey fans, this is not simply another date on the calendar. It is a major homecoming moment for one of pop music's biggest live performers. The excitement surrounding the Soundcheck demonstrates that fans were ready long before the official show started. And that excitement is only going to become louder once the stadium is full. There is also something symbolic about seeing Bruno Mars preparing behind the scenes. The audience usually sees the finished product. They see the lights. They see the choreography. They hear the polished sound. They see Bruno walking onto the stage with confidence. But behind that moment are hours of preparation. There are musicians rehearsing, crew members working, technicians checking equipment, production teams coordinating timing, stage managers communicating constantly, and Bruno himself preparing to deliver the performance. That is the part fans rarely see. And a soundcheck gives us a brief window into that world. It reminds everyone that spectacular concerts do not simply happen. They are built, piece by piece, note by note, cue by cue, until everything is ready. And when everything finally comes together, the result can look effortless. That is the illusion of a great live show. You see the magic. You don't always see the work behind it. At MetLife Stadium, that work is now underway, and New Jersey is responding. The excitement is spreading across social media. Fans are sharing clips. People are discussing the soundcheck. Others are counting down to the moment the doors open. And Bruno Mars fans around the world are watching because they know this US return could bring some of the most memorable moments of the romantic tour. There is still a lot we do not know. And honestly, that is part of what makes the anticipation so exciting. Will Bruno change the set list? Will there be a surprise guest? Will the arrangements sound different? Will the production include something that fans have not seen before? Those questions will only be answered when the lights go down and the show begins. Until then, the soundcheck remains the closest thing fans have to a preview. And perhaps that is why a few minutes of Bruno Mars singing inside MetLife Stadium can create such a huge reaction. Because fans understand what it means. The wait is almost over. The stage is ready. The band is ready. The production is ready. Bruno Mars is ready. And New Jersey is ready to go wild. From the first soundcheck note to the final encore, this is the kind of concert moment that reminds us why Bruno Mars remains one of the most powerful live entertainers in the world. The romantic tour has already created massive memories across the globe. Now it is time for the United States to write another chapter. And that chapter begins at MetLife Stadium. What started as a soundcheck will soon become a stadium full of screaming fans, flashing lights, powerful vocals, live musicianship, unforgettable choreography, and thousands of people singing together. The rehearsal may have been quiet compared with what is coming, but the message was loud. Bruno Mars is back. MetLife Stadium is ready. New Jersey is ready. And the romantic tour is officially entering another explosive stage. If you are a Bruno Mars fan, this is the moment to stay locked in, because every new performance can bring a new surprise, a new viral moment, and another piece of history from one of the biggest tours of 2026. And if the energy around the soundcheck is already this intense, imagine what happens when the stadium lights finally go completely dark. That is when the real show begins. So what do you think? Could the MetLife Stadium shows become some of the biggest and most memorable concerts of Bruno Mars' entire romantic tour? Tell us in the comments, share this video with another Bruno Mars fan, and subscribe for more Bruno Mars news, the romantic tour updates, concert footage, soundcheck moments, live performance coverage, and breaking entertainment stories. Because this was only the soundcheck. The real Bruno Mars takeover at MetLife Stadium is just beginning. The excitement surrounding Bruno Mars at MetLife Stadium does not stop with the soundcheck. In fact, the soundcheck may have been the moment that made everyone realize just how close the main event really is. For fans who have been following the romantic tour from the very beginning, there is something incredibly satisfying about watching the pieces finally come together. The stage is no longer just a construction site. The stadium is no longer simply a venue on the tour schedule. And Bruno Mars is no longer somewhere across the ocean performing another international date. He is here, in New Jersey, at MetLife Stadium, and that changes everything. The atmosphere surrounding the venue carries a different kind of intensity because this is the return of Bruno Mars to the American Stadium stage after the European and UK chapter of the Romantic Tour. Fans have been watching this journey unfold from one city to another, collecting memories from every major stop. Now the spotlight has returned to the United States, and the first major US stop has already created enormous anticipation. One of the most fascinating things about Bruno Mars is the way his music connects different generations. Someone might know him from Just the Way You Are. Another fan might have discovered him through 24K Magic. Someone else might have become a fan through Silk Sonic. And a newer generation may have discovered him through the Romantic era. That means when Bruno walks onto a stadium stage, the audience is not made up of only one type of fan. It is a massive mixture of people who have different connections to his music. And eventually, they all end up singing together. That is what makes moments like MetLife Stadium so powerful. The soundcheck gives fans a small preview of that connection. But the actual concert will amplify it on an entirely different level. Imagine thousands of voices joining Bruno on the biggest songs of his career. Imagine the crowd reacting to the opening beat. Imagine the stadium lights moving across the audience. Imagine the giant screens displaying Bruno's every move. And then imagine the moment when the entire stadium realizes that this is not a rehearsal anymore. This is the show. That transition from anticipation to reality is one of the most exciting parts of any major concert. And Bruno Mars knows exactly how to build that tension. His performances are carefully paced. There are moments of explosive energy. There are moments where the music slows down. There are moments designed for the audience to sing. And there are moments where the focus shifts entirely to Bruno and the musicians on stage. That variation keeps the audience engaged from beginning to end. It is also one of the reasons his live shows have such strong replay value. A fan can watch a performance online, then see it live and still feel like the stadium experience is completely different, because the atmosphere cannot be duplicated through a screen. The soundcheck at MetLife Stadium may have given fans a glimpse of the musical preparation, but the real test comes when the stadium is filled. That is when every instrument, every microphone, every lighting cue, and every visual effect has to work together perfectly. There is no second chance once the performance begins. And that is why the preparation is so important. For Bruno Mars, live performance is not an optional part of the experience. It is at the center of his identity as an entertainer. His shows are built around the idea that the audience should feel like they are witnessing something special in real time. That philosophy becomes even more important in a stadium, because a stadium can make an artist look small. Bruno's production is designed to do the opposite. It turns the entire venue into part of the performance. The audience becomes part of the visual. The lights stretch across the stadium. The screens magnify the action. The music fills every section. And the energy moves from the stage into the crowd and back again. That is why the reaction around MetLife Stadium matters. The fans are not simply waiting for another concert. They are waiting for an experience. And the soundcheck has already started creating that experience before the official opening moment. There is also a fascinating psychological element to seeing an artist during soundcheck. Fans know that what they are watching is not the final performance. There is no full crowd. There may not be the complete lighting sequence. The atmosphere is different. The artist is focused on preparation. But because fans know what is coming, even ordinary rehearsal moments can feel extraordinary. A single vocal line can trigger thousands of reactions online. A familiar melody can instantly identify a song. A brief glimpse of Bruno on stage can send fans into a frenzy. And suddenly, the soundcheck becomes a story of its own. That is exactly what happened around MetLife Stadium. The venue itself became part of the conversation. New Jersey became the center of attention. And Bruno Mars once again demonstrated the ability to create anticipation without even officially starting the show. But now comes the bigger question. Can the actual concert live up to the enormous expectations created before the doors even open? That is the challenge. Because when fans arrive with expectations this high, every detail becomes important. The opening, the first song, the first interaction with the crowd, the lighting, the choreography, the musicians, the transitions, the set list, the encore. Every moment can become a headline. And in the age of social media, one unforgettable performance can spread around the world within minutes. A single viral Bruno Mars moment from MetLife Stadium could quickly become part of the wider story surrounding the romantic tour. That is why fans are watching so closely. They are not only attending a concert, they are witnessing another chapter of a tour that has already generated huge attention internationally. The romantic tour has become a massive live production, and the return to the US provides a new opportunity for Bruno to redefine the experience for his home audience. There is also something special about the New York metropolitan area. New York and New Jersey audiences are famously energetic. They are loud. They are passionate. And they do not hold back when they love a performer. For Bruno Mars, that kind of crowd can create an entirely different atmosphere. The audience reaction can influence the rhythm of the night. When the crowd sings loudly enough, the artist can step back and let them take over. When the applause continues, the performer can extend a moment. When the energy becomes overwhelming, the entire stadium can feel like it is moving together. That is the magic of a live concert, and it is impossible to manufacture. You can prepare the stage, you can rehearse the music, you can program the lights, but you cannot fully predict how tens of thousands of people will react. That uncertainty is what makes every show unique. And perhaps that is the biggest reason the MetLife Stadium soundcheck has captured so much attention. It represents the calm before the storm. The stadium is preparing. The artist is preparing. The audience is preparing. And soon all three will collide. The soundcheck was the quietest part of the story. The concert will be the explosion. When the first major beat hits, everything that happened during preparation will suddenly make sense. Every technical adjustment, every rehearsal, every vocal check, every lighting test, every stage movement, all of it exists for one purpose: to create those few hours when Bruno Mars stands in front of a massive audience and makes the entire stadium feel like it belongs to him. And that is exactly why New Jersey is going wild. This is not simply about hearing a superstar sing. It is about being part of a moment. For fans inside MetLife Stadium, the memory will likely begin long before Bruno appears. It begins with arriving at the venue, seeing the crowds, hearing music outside, meeting other fans, watching the stadium gradually fill, then seeing the stage lights come alive. The anticipation continues building, and eventually the lights go down. That moment can feel almost unreal. The conversations stop. The crowd gets louder. People raise their phones. Everyone looks toward the stage. And then Bruno Mars appears. After all the preparation, all the waiting, and all the speculation, the moment finally arrives. The soundcheck is over. The rehearsal is over. The waiting is over. Now it is showtime. And if the reaction to the soundcheck is any indication, the audience at MetLife Stadium is going to bring an incredible level of energy. Bruno Mars has returned to the United States with something to prove, not because he needs to prove that he can perform, but because every new stadium show gives him another opportunity to demonstrate why his concerts remain among the most anticipated live events in pop music. The stage is ready. The band is ready. The production is ready. The fans are ready. And Bruno Mars is ready. What began with a soundcheck has transformed into a major moment for the romantic tour. New Jersey is officially part of the next chapter. And if the opening moments are already generating this much excitement, the biggest question is no longer whether MetLife Stadium will be loud. The question is just how loud it will become when Bruno Mars finally takes the stage. Because this is Bruno Mars. This is the romantic tour. And this is MetLife Stadium. The soundcheck was only the warning. The real storm is about to begin.